Hey, what's up guys? I'm just playing with the Moogerfooger ring modulator, and the first time I heard it was on a live recording with Wayne Krantz, and then found out that John McLaughlin and Herbie Hancock and Chick Corea, keyboardists, used it in the 70s to kind of create this, it's a synth, kind of out there kind of sound. And when I heard it on Wayne Krantz's record, I was totally blown away by the sound of it, and immediately went online to try to get one. And anyway, so it's just kind of a fun sound to mess with. There's a bunch of different settings, and that's just one of many that I was using there. And yeah, so I just wanted to share with you guys the experience of putting bands together and share some thoughts with you guys. Because, people that maybe haven't put bands together before might not be sure about how to do that, or if you are in the process of putting bands together or are already in a band, maybe just some helpful thoughts, or just thoughts that I've sort of accumulated from many years of putting bands together. And so, yeah, I've been putting bands together for about 15 years. And I've had many different incarnations of the Tyson Graff Trio. It used to be the Tyson Graff Band, and I had a group I called Modified for a couple years. And I started putting bands together right away after graduating from Berklee College of Music. And, my music has changed over the years, so I've changed personnel quite a lot. And then sometimes, musicians will leave to go play elsewhere, or they'll lose interest in playing music, or whatever the case may be, why personnel have changed. But yeah, so currently I have a new group that I've recently put together, and it's with a bass player named Jonathan Stoyanov and a drummer named Jeff Miniweather. And both of these guys are fantastic musicians. Jonathan and I played one gig together about 2, maybe even 3 years ago. It was on a jazz gig, and it was just fantastic. And he travels a lot for music, so we haven't really, there hasn't really been any opportunities or anything that came up for us to play together. Or if there was, he wasn't available, or if he called me for a gig, I wasn't available. But he's not on the road as much these days. He was touring a while with Johnny A, the great guitar player Johnny A, and a band leader by the name of Joe Craven. He still tours with Joe Craven. And yeah, anyway, so we started playing together again, and it's been great. We're both super stoked about this new group and playing together. And then the other the other member is Jeff Miniweather. Someone I've been playing with. I played with him for about 4 years, and then we recently reconnected after about a 1.5 year break due to just schedule conflicts, or that was mainly the reason, was just schedule conflicts. But now we're getting it going again, and so that's the new trio right now. And so what I'd like to do is just share with you guys some, like I said, some thoughts about putting bands together. And when this group gets going, I'm going to share some videos. And we're already talking about a studio to record my record that will have about 8 tracks on it, and all original material. And yeah, so we've already got a studio kind of figured out, and so I will definitely share some full footage of the band playing and recording and rehearsing and the whole thing. One of the things I've struggled with as a band leader is telling people what to do. That's been a really tough one for me. And it just doesn't feel right to me to tell people what to do. But as a band leader, it's really important that you kind of take control and you direct the band. But there's, obviously ways to do it that are more helpful than other ways. And I think if your intent is right, I think if your intent is to make great music rather than the intent of trying to control people, then I think it's going to be fine. I think people will be receptive to your directions and ideas. And I think it's also important as a band leader to even have, dialogue with the other musicians about what they're thinking about, to allow them to bring in their creativity. That's something that's actually really important to me is, in these current groups I've put together, to have the input from the other musicians. Because, to me, music, or not just to me, but music, I think, is about self-expression. And the more you have members of your group expressing themselves, the better the music, I think. And the thing that kind of goes along with that is this idea of having good attitudes. I mentioned this in another video, and I just want to highlight it here because it's a really important factor, whether you're a band leader or a band member, just having a good attitude, because it creates such it just creates a more relaxed, a more fun environment for music to happen. And and kind of connected to that is this idea of being patient. One of the things that comes up with putting bands together is, schedule conflicts, and just logistical things might not line up as smoothly as we would like. And you just have to realize it's just part of the process, and to be flexible and to be patient and to basically be persistent with your musical path, and just staying with it. Eventually things will come together, and you'll find the right members to play with, and the schedules will eventually align, and people will start prioritizing things more when they figure out, oh, this is a musical situation I really want to be a part of. And this is just the first video, obviously, I'm making about putting bands together and sharing thoughts about the process. So just wanted to kind of get things going with this first video here, and share a little ring modulator sound with you. And you'll probably hear it in my trios, because I like to use it for effect on occasion. And it's a very easy pedal to overuse since it just has such a really cool sound. But yeah, okay guys, I'll talk to you in the next vlog.